Diesel and Automotive, Emporia State Federal Credit Union, Newman Regional Health, Shelter Insurance Agents Kelly Medrano and Dave Watts, and by Sports Connection. Here's the voice of the Emporia State Hornets, Blake Cripps.
The Emporia State football team had its best offensive day of the season, but couldn't make quite enough stops, falling 42-29 to number 18 Pittsburg State at Welch Stadium on Saturday. Now the Hornets head to Missouri for the first time in 2025 to face Missouri Western. The Griffins are 1-3 after falling by one score at Fort Hays State last week. And with that, we welcome you into the brand new Hornet Talk here at 627 Event Space, 627 Commercial in downtown Emporia. The Hornets looking for a streak buster to get back in to the win column, and both teams come in at 1-3 overall and 0-2 mark in MIAA play. So one of these teams is going to start 0-3. Don't want to be in that boat, so a lot on the line for both of these teams. So they get together on Saturday night for a 6 p.m. kickoff at Spratt Stadium in St. Joseph. That means we'll have a 5 p.m. RV Doc pregame show on Mix 104.9. And you can listen online at kvoe.com/listen. We are joined here. Please give a warm round of applause to head coach Garin Higgins on the show as we get set for Hornet Talk today. Coach, always a pleasure to have you aboard here. And I know we'll get into today's specials, and there were bright spots in this game on Saturday, but I know overall a disappointing result for you guys in a game in which, in times, I know that you guys feel like you played well on both sides, actually in all three phases of the game.
Yeah, I mean, I will say this much about our guys. Everybody is of course disappointed and frustrated, but our guys are ready to play. And after watching the film, there's areas that we have to improve in, and I think we know where those are at. But at the same time, there's also we're getting better in a lot of areas too, and sometimes it doesn't show up on the scoreboard. And when you play in this league, in this conference, you can't overcome mistakes, but at the same time, I think that we're finding our way a little bit. I think that I look at the positive things where I think Ben Harris is playing at a very high level right now. We were able to run the ball effectively on Saturday. We played with the type of pace that we need to play with, and we got to get more turnovers. Of course, I think that's something, we got to get turnovers. I thought we our special teams, our punt return team is playing really well right now. We got to be able to stop the run. I think that is definitely something that we have to do. I believe we're going to get there. And it's not going to be a quick fix by any means. We're it's like I told the team, we're all in this thing together. And we can sit around and point the finger, or we can, find ways to continue to get better. And I believe that's what we're going to do, because I really like this team. It's just disappointing when we're 1-3 right now.
I think you're going to like some of these plays too. It's time for today's specials, brought to you by 627 Event Space. Stop by tonight. They're open until 9 p.m. Be a great place to watch some Monday Night Football. On special every Monday, a $5 chicken mac and cheese bowl with sides, available fries, mac and cheese, ribbon fries, or home fries, and plenty of drink specials. Want to remind those of you watching as well, or maybe you want to watch, you can't get by a radio one of these nights, we are streaming on the ESU Athletics YouTube channel. So let's get into tonight's specials. The Hornets gave up the first two scores of the game, but they did make some defensive plays, including this sack. Snap back to Barry. Barry under some pressure now. Gets by one sacker. He will not get by the second. Sacked from behind on the play by Emporia State. The sack there, the man that you just called out, Kent, Eric Trey Stevenson, able to wrap him up for a loss back at the Pittsburg State 48-yard line. And I don't know if that was by design, Coach, but it seemed like you guys were rotating in a few guys on the defensive line, and some of those guys you rotated in played pretty well for you in spots.
And to be honest with you, I thought the second quarter was a quarter where I thought we played our best defensively, and we were able to get some pressure on the quarterback. The biggest thing is we got to be more consistent with that, and we also got to keep everything in front. I think the big plays hurt us too as well.
Speaking of big plays, ESU got on the board with a field goal. They were down 14-0, but they continued to trim the deficit on the first of what turned out to be many pinpoint passes by quarterback Ben Harris. Shotgun snap here. Here is Harris looking to the end zone. Shoulder fake, going to throw it back. 2-on-1 coverage. Caught! Touchdown! Emporia State. Maliko is back into the end zone. A perfectly thrown ball by Ben Harris. And the Hornets answer with 9:03 left in the first half. 14-9 Gorillas.
Perfectly thrown ball is exactly right.
Well, you talk about hitting a bullseye a couple of times. Boy, Ben Harris, there were some tight windows, maybe even too tight for comfort at times, but man, he was, I know that, he missed 20 passes, whatever. It felt like he was about
the worst pass he makes is the now screen, which I could go out there and throw. All right.
It felt like he was 50 for 55. Gosh, some of those ones he threw in there in the middle of hands, it was an incredible day for him, and that pass was certainly one of them.
Well, I think that when you look at that, there's a lot of moving parts for those passes to be thrown. And number one is he had great protection, I felt like. And then the second thing, our receivers are stepping up and making plays. Maliko Adas is continuing to get better. The thing that and I know Coach Chavis will probably talk more about it later when he's up here, but he's getting better in all phases from a standpoint of playing hard every play and understanding that if you feel like you may not get the ball on this route, I always say this is an equal opportunity offense. Hey, the ball may come to you, all right? So be ready, and the ball's coming to him a lot right now, and he's playing with a lot of confidence and making some great plays.
Well, you talk about making plays and maybe throws that are fairly easy. I don't think there was anything out of ordinary on this pass, but boy, was there ever something out of the ordinary on the run after the catch as Mason Ford put ESU into the lead. Sidearm sling, here is Ford into traffic, runs straight forward, stayed up on his feet,
yes,
and he escapes! A jailbreak down the near sideline, Ford race inside the 10, the 5, touchdown! Emporia State, Ford, he was rolling on top of bodies at the 35-yard line, and he escapes for a 40-yard score! Boy, that doesn't get any better in terms of extra effort than Mason Ford on that one. It seems like every single one that he's had to do something a little bit extra. I'll still remember that 360 spin he had to get into the end zone. I think that was in the season opener at Welch.
Yeah, I think the thing with Mason is he's one of those players that he's so tough and will not be denied. All right, I mean, it's what I call, some of our receivers aren't very big. All right. He's one of those guys. I always say it's like small man syndrome. All right, he refuses to go down, and he's not afraid. He has no fear. He plays the game the way it needs to be played. He's not a toe dipper.
Sure.
All right, that water's cold. He's jumping in it.
That's right.
And he's playing at a high level. And the thing about it, Blake, is he's playing also very well on special teams too, and he's doing a job there. And I'm proud to. Those guys are growing up quick, and they kind of had to grow up quick once we lost Trendon, and it's good to see that entire group continue to play at a high level.
Down 3 scores in the second half, ESU had to have this rushing touchdown by Diego Kearns. The delayed handoff. Kearns on the near side. Kearns tiptoeing on the near sideline. Did he get in? Touchdown! Emporia State. Diego Kearns' second rushing touchdown of the year. And the Hornets get one of those scores back. They're down by 13. It's 35-22. As Coach mentioned, it was a pretty complete performance by the running game. We'll ask him about that here a little later. And then did want to sneak in one special teams play for Emporia State as they seem to be getting to the Pittsburg State punter early and often in this one, and almost got home on, seems like 4 or 5 punts. They ended up getting 2 blocked punts, including this one in the second half. That's a low snap. The ball is blocked. The kick is blocked. It's blocked. Recovered there by Pitt State. They're going to run it near side, past the 50-yard line, the 45, and then out of bounds. So it will be short of the line of the game, but Emporia State with the block of the punt. And there 2 blocks were by Devin Owen and one by Eric McCarty. Did you guys see something coming in on film? Maybe, the opponents for Pitt State hadn't really challenged them, but whatever, you guys put something in different, or maybe you saw something you could exploit. Boy, it seemed like you guys almost had about 6 block punts in that game.
We Coach Harrelson and Coach McDowell. Coach McDowell's in charge of the punt block unit, and they did see something on film, and we felt like that we could go and we could block one. And
you did.
We did. We blocked two of them, and we came close almost every time. And I think the unfortunate part of the one now the one that we blocked, the guy picked it up, and I was like, if he's going to run for a first down, it's definitely not our day.
Yeah.
But we're able to get that stop right there. I wish we would have. I don't think we turned that turnover into points. I don't think we did, but. Again, our special teams, we got to get better at kickoff. Our kickoff cover unit has to get better, but whenever you can change the momentum of a game very quickly with plays like that.
We're going to review that game, the Pittsburg State game, with Coach Higgins when we come back. Our guests on the show today will be wide receivers coach Bryce Chavis in his second year here at Emporium, and also defensive tackle Kaden Fields is here. So we'll get you set for Missouri Western, a road trip for Emporia State. Remember, no consecutive home games for the Hornets this year. It's another nighttime kickoff, 6 o'clock, and we'll have the coverage for you with the RV Doc pregame show beginning at 5 on Saturday from Spratt Stadium in St. Joseph, Missouri. So more with Coach about last weekend when we come back. Live from 627 Event Space, this is Hornet Talk. You're listening to Emporia State Football.
Headed to the game or celebrating after? Swing by 627 Event Space Bar and Grill. Whether you're grabbing a burger before kickoff or winding down with a beer after the buzzer, 627 has you covered. Emporia's go-to spot for great food, cold drinks, and unbeatable vibes. 627 Event Space Bar and Grill, the new home for Hornet Talk at 627 Commercial. Proud supporters of the Emporia State University Hornets. Stingers up!
Do you have a new driver in the family? Start them off with just more than the fundamentals of driving from point A to B. Make sure they understand what actually keeps their car reliable and on the road and safe. At Black rotations and more. Visit BlackCreekDieselAutomotive.com or give them a call at 620-343-0086. A safe car helps make a safe driver. Black Creek Diesel and Automotive, 3105 West 6th here in Emporia.
At Emporia State Federal Credit Union, they believe education is the key to a brighter future. That's why they support students, teachers, and lifelong learners with smart financial solutions, from savings plans to free financial education tools. Whether you're just starting school or continuing your journey, they're here to help every step of the way. Emporia State Federal Credit Union, where education and community come first. Federally insured by the NCUA.
When you need fast care, Newman Regional Health Medical Partners Express Care is here for you. Conveniently located on site at Newman Regional Health, Express Care offers walk-in service for non-emergency illnesses and injuries. No appointment needed. Open 7 days a week to keep you feeling your best. Call today at 620-343-7828. Trust Express Care for quick, reliable treatment. Newman Regional Health Medical Partners Express Care, helping the Hornets achieve their healthy goals.
It's time to fall forward into football season and cheer on your favorite team. So why not get new gear for you and your family at Sports Connection? Sports Connection carries Emporia High and area high school team apparel, as well as ESU, KU, and K-State gear. They also do custom screen printing for your team, booster club, or your family and fans. Catch the spirit with new fan gear from Sports Connection. Sports Connection, 2721 West 15th, Emporia.
Did you get us switched over to shelter insurance?
Actually, I found a deal online.
You did? Does your deal come with award-winning customer service?
Oh, I'm not sure.
Does the deal include a local agent?
Doesn't actually say.
Can we create a customized plan that fits our needs? Let's just call the local shelter agent.
For insurance that fits just right, find a shelter agent near you.
For auto, home, life, or business insurance, see shelter agent Dave Watts. Mix 104.9.
Back here at Hornet Talk, 627 Event Space. It's streaming online, KVOE.com/listen. Come and be here next week with us. Emporia State getting set for Missouri Western on Saturday, a 6 p.m. kickoff on Mix 104.9. Coach Miller invites you to join him and the 2025-26 Hornet basketball team on Thursday, October 9th, inside the Skyline Room at ESU's Memorial Union for his second annual tip-off breakfast. Free will donation, but seats are limited. Email athletics@emporia.edu for more details or to reserve your seat today. That's athletics@emporia.edu. Coach, obviously in this one, a 14-0 hole, but you guys come right back with 16 straight to take the lead. Had to love the fight. What was the mood like on that sideline, down 14-0? And obviously you guys found exactly what you needed at that time to get you right back into the game.
Well, I believe this team is resilient. I think that we don't have a conscience, to be quite honest with you, and that's what I like about this group. I mean, we're definitely going through some growing pains right now with some of our young guys, but they are competitive, and I don't think there was ever really any panic in them. I think it shows how explosive we can be offensively for us to come back and put 16 points on the board relatively quickly. But the thing about it is just, I know this sounds maybe sounds not right, but I truly believe our guys are ready to play. We continue to dig ourselves in some holes early, and we're not good enough right now to get out of that hole completely. I mean, we're trying, and our guys are competing, but we got to get off to a better start.
You look at that second half, and they get the touchdown, but you're getting the ball back, so it's time to answer here, and they go for the onside kick. You said afterwards, I said on the call, a great call by Coach Anthony. Give them credit. How do you guys kind of, in your mind, train, practice those onside kicks, knowing that, there's going to be a lot of them in this era of football? That kind of kick doesn't happen that much anymore. In the NFL, it's not even a legal play anymore. You have to announce when you're doing an onside kick. But how do you guys kind of coach that up in terms of being ready for those surprise onside kicks?
Yeah, well, that comes in practice, and we always work onside kicks on Friday. We go out in pads on Friday, and then during the week, if we're working our kickoff return unit, we will have the kicker at some point. We'll do a surprise onside, and their guy. We tell our guys before they take the field, hey, don't go to the ball's kicked. See the ball kicked. And the guy kicked, he kicked it good onside. He kicked it exactly where it needed to be. And our guy left a little bit early, and they were able – that was a huge turning point in that game.
It just felt like you were chasing that possession the rest of the game.
Well, you're right. And I felt like even though they had scored right there before halftime, I felt like our group was going in with some confidence, and we had some momentum, even though they got points on the board. And that really just kind of set us back. And as you said, I felt like we were chasing that really from that moment on.
Obviously, in football, every single play matters, and people are going to look at the running numbers that they had and say, boy, well, how can you say you played well defensively? But if you watched the entire game and every
I didn't say we played that well.
No, I'm saying other people.
We got to play better.
Understandably. Understandably.
Just be honest.
But if you watched every snap of the game, there were a lot of good plays for you guys defensively where you gummed up the run, where you stuffed the run, but there were really just 4 plays, 4 carries. If you can eliminate those, it's a totally different ball game. But unfortunately, as you know, you can't. In terms of how the defense played, how did you see, and once you went back and looked on film, what did you see about those plays and about your defense overall?
Well, we missed some tackles, of course. I think that, we had guys in the play in the spots at times. I think that the biggest thing for us is even just getting, even if somebody makes a 7 to 8 yard gain, not giving up the big play has been the thing that has really hurt us. And I think that, we have changed a little bit with what we're doing defensively and went to more of a 4-down front. Now, that 4-down front that we work on is good when you have a 235-pound linebacker, all right? Well, Gabe Rowland is out with a broken ankle. Chance Clemens only played 15 plays. So with that being said, that does change up some things for us. And, regardless of that, we know that we have to get better. All right. And I think our guys right now, they feel more comfortable with us just playing a 3-down front and us doing some different things with our outside linebackers to kind of muddy some things up a little bit.
Offensively for you guys, best performance of the year. I think that's a pretty. I don't think you have to be New Rockney to point that out. I think that's pretty obvious to see. And I want to go and focus on the rushing, not to gloss over what the passing offense did, or that's just expected. But 174 yards rushing. You got 88 from Kearns. Camden Crooks had a good day. You got a 21-yard jet sweep to KB. You had a couple of design runs for Ben Harris. He averaged over 5.5 per carry. You guys it was pretty comprehensive. You guys ran the ball every single way you could run it and had a lot of success. What made it the best running game of the year for you guys?
Well, I think, first of all, I felt like that I made myself run the football. All right. I mean, let's start there first. And,
Sure.
I think our guys up front, I've said this about that group, is they're a gritty group. They're tough. I know Coach Cash has said it. He loves coaching those guys. I think they got some toughness to them, which you got to have up front. And you can see how much, like, we're always going to – you always look at statistics on us. Yeah, we're going to have passing yards. But, like, when we become really good offensively is when we are balanced in our eyes, okay, and able to run the football effectively. And we were able to do that, and you can see how much better it made us. And then you just look at that, the running backs in general, starting with Diego, who had, 88 yards rushing, I think.
And then, career high, by the way.
And then Cam Crooks, we're starting to get him. That was his first college touchdown. All right, I mean, these are guys, Diego played, for the most part, didn't play a lot, but had a role on the team last year. Kevion, first really true action that he's getting. And then Max Middleton, he was kind of the unsung hero. We actually put him back in the backfield where we actually had two tailbacks back there. And we call it a maverick back and just did some things differently. And he did his job. And when everybody does their job and it starts with those guys up front, and as you said, us being able to run the football, we become a very, very effective offense.
Overall, how do you look at special teams? Looking at what you guys did, there was some good, there was some bad in terms of the kickoff. Didn't have great kick returns like you had the first couple of weeks, but had some good punt coverage, not as good kick coverage, had good punt returns, and obviously the 2 blocked kicks, so there was a kind of a mixed bag there.
Yeah, I always believe that you got to have your best guys on punt and you got to have your best guys on kickoff cover. And, I thought we've done a really good job with our punt coverage unit. I think that our kickoff cover unit has got to be better. We got better players for that unit should be better. All right. So, we made some changes to yesterday and today. And then our kickoff return unit, we just haven't been consistent, and guys, listen, some guys are going to make their way by starting on special teams. And there's a lot of guys I can name through the years that got their opportunities on special teams, and they did their job and they did it at a high level. And that's what we're looking for. So for an overall, aspect of it, we're playing okay. I think we can be better. I think field position was huge again. I think
I didn't point it out, but shouldn't be said. You do have the number 1 punter in the MIAA,
right? And he does a great job, Bill, and he's a weapon for us.
It's not fair that we kind of overlook him, but he shouldn't be. He's averaging nearly 46 yards a punt. You'll take that all day, every day. And
I think just with our kickoff coverage units, got to be better. Again, everything with what we're doing, I mean, it's nonstop. I mean, it's nonstop coaching these guys and, working to get these guys better in all phases.
Let's take a timeout. When we come back, we'll talk offense with wide receivers coach Bryce Chavis in his second year with the program. He's coming up next. Live from 627 Event Space, this is Hornet Talk. You're listening to Emporia State Football.
At Emporia State Federal Credit Union, they believe education is the key to a brighter future. That's why they support students, teachers, and lifelong learners with smart financial solutions, from savings plans to free financial education tools. Whether you're just starting school or continuing your journey, they're here to help every step of the way. Emporia State Federal Credit Union, where education and community come first. Federally insured by the NCUA.
Newman Regional Health Medical Partners is proud to provide the same orthopedic and sports medicine care trusted by the athletes on the Hornet fields. Their expert medical team serves the greater Emporia area with comprehensive treatment for sprains, fractures, joint pain, and sports-related injuries. Trusted by athletes and available to everyone. Schedule your appointment today with Newman Regional Health Medical Partners at 620-343-2376. Newman Regional Health, achieving healthy goals.
Pickup truck, sports car, motorcycle, minivan, townhouse, two-story, farmhouse, fixer-upper. What you drive and where you live is different for everyone, so it's important to have insurance that fits your needs and is just right for you. At Shelter Insurance, we understand that, which is why our agents help you design a comprehensive auto, home, and life insurance plan. Insurance that fits just right.
For a free personal protection review, contact Shelter Insurance Agent Dave Watts.
It's time to fall forward into football season and cheer on your favorite teams. So why not get new gear for you and your family at Sports Connection? Sports Connection carries Emporia High school technical, as well as we also carry and custom equipment, and also do custom screen printing.
Saturday, the night kickoff number 3 of 4 currently scheduled, 6 p.m. RV Doc pregame show at 5 right here on Mix 104.9. We are joined now by second-year wide receivers coach on the program. Came here after serving as an offensive coach at McPherson College right here in Kansas in the KCAC. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Bryce Chavis to Hornet Talk here for his first time on the show this year. Coach, appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
Excited to be here, man. I appreciate you guys.
Like I was telling you here before we got going, you got to be excited when you've got 2 100-yard wide receivers, best offensive game of the year for you guys in terms of yardage and points. Definitely feels like the offense is moving in the direction you guys want it to be moving in.
Yeah, man, it really starts with practice. And I think over the last few weeks, we've really been focusing on that and pushing these guys to, focus on the details, focus on the little things. And they've been doing it. And again, obviously starts with Ben, the quarterback. He's been playing at an extremely high level. Offensive line's been doing a great job running the ball, which obviously makes our job a lot easier. When you're able to run the ball, and being able to create those openings that we create with the space in the pass game, man, it makes it a lot easier for our guys, and they're taking advantage of it.
You've mentioned the practice. Coach Higgins has mentioned practice habits, and certainly when you have this many new Hornets in the program, there has to be a little bit of teaching that goes along with it. How much have you guys gone into trying to teach guys the right way to practice in order to make sure that they're making the improvement that you guys want to see each and every week?
It's what it's all about, man. It's about the process. And when the process is focused on as hard as we do, it makes the games the easier part. And obviously the wins haven't came yet, but if we keep doing what we're supposed to do in the practice habits, building on the details, building on the little things, the wins are going to come. So that's what we focus on. And guys show up, and we practice hard, man. That's the great thing about having a young team that we do have is they're excited to be at practice. You don't got to fight them for it. They show up every day ready to work, and they're starting to see it at least offensively on our side of things, and it's going to start happening defensively as well. Guys work hard, and when you work hard like that, the wins will come.
We're talking with Bryce Chavis, wide receivers coach here at Emporia State. You lose Tyler Common, best wide receiver in the history of the MIAA, and then you chuckle, but it's like, yeah, he kind of is. Then Trenton Collins goes down in week 2, so you're like, that's 170 or 190, whatever it is, yards off of last year's team. Like, who the heck we're going to throw the football to? Well, you look down here, you got 4 guys who are averaging more than 55 yards per game, and 1 guy who's averaging 10 catches and about 99 yards per game, and you have 2 Hornets with over 100 yards receiving in the same game. How proud are you of the depth that you've been able to find and build? And these guys said, you know what, we're going to be better top to bottom. And even with Trenton Collins being out, they may be still better top to bottom than they were last year.
Well, yeah, I think that's the thing we came into the season with. We knew we had depth in the room, and what we do passing-wise, there's opportunities for everybody. And I think our guys are just taking advantage of that. Obviously losing Trenton's huge, man. He's a special player, and obviously we're going to get him for a couple more years now with it happening. But, we had special players all over, and it's just time for those guys to grow up, and they've stepped up in their roles. More things have been asked of Malik and Mason and Kingsley and Shannon and Schultz and all of those guys, man. We came in with a lot of depth, so we knew when a guy went down, and we just had to step up, and they've been doing it, man. And I'm excited for those guys, and it's all on them, man. It's about players. It ain't about plays.
I know that, you didn't have the scalper or anything. You weren't in the operating room. But how is Trenton doing as he tries to make his recovery and now starts the long road back?
He's doing great, man. Trenton's one of those guys you never have to worry about, whether it's class, football, school. He's going to do what he does. He works hard every day. He's working in the weight room even now, just doing upper body little things. So, he'll be back bigger, stronger, faster than ever. So, again, it sucks for this season, but I am excited for his future. He never did get that redshirt year, so now he's able to get that.
Here he comes for it, and certainly he and this offense are going to be better for it, and certainly they're better for Malik Oedis. Boy, he has kind of established himself as the next great Hornet wide receiver, and certainly he and Trenton next year could be tough, but Malik's playing tough right now, and he's a problem for defenses right now with 3 touchdowns, 40 catches, 396 yards, another 100-yard receiving game. What's allowed him to take a step? Coach Higgins said this week he felt like he took a really big step just in his entire game, not just catching the football. What allowed him to do that?
Malik is probably one of the most confident kids you've ever met in your life, man. He's hilarious to that point.
You don't say.
Oh, man. But he works hard, and he does. And he's just had to, understand the details and growing as a wide receiver. He hasn't always been in the position. So, it's still kind of new for him. And the work ethic that it takes to be what he's playing at is all kudos to his work that he's putting in. And I don't even think he scratched the surface truly of how good he can be, because there's still so much more as a wide receiver he can learn. But it's always about his work ethic. It's growing every day. He's getting so much better at it. And that's what I'm most proud of, is the process for him is becoming more important. And when the process has become more important, obviously it's showing in the games on Saturday.
Mason Ford certainly with a couple of the touchdowns of the year, bouncing off ahead with a 360 spin and getting in, and then climbing over gorillas through the jungle, through a whole gang of gorillas to get into the end zone. That's really not a play that you can practice, but certainly a play that he made.
Yeah, Mason just doesn't stop, man. He's 100 miles an hour all the time, and when you do that, you make plays like that. He just plays till the whistle, does all the little things. He works hard, and again, like Coach Higgins said, man, he's one of the toughest players we have. And bringing him down, man, it's a tough thing to do because he doesn't want to. So he fights for every extra yard he can get. He makes big plays, man. He's a playmaker, and it showed.
Kingsley Bennett, certainly nobody's got speed like his on the team, and you guys were even able to hit one of those jet sweeps. You've tried a couple times, hasn't always been successful, but finally popped one for 21 yards. What allowed that play to be successful?
Just work, man. We work on those things and all the little, nuances of our offense and making sure that those guys are ready to go for that moment. And Kingsley's been an explosive player all year. I think his average catch was almost around 16-something yards a game at one point this year.
Yeah.
So he's an explosive player, man. So finding ways to get him the football, and he's been a great leader. I mean, he's a captain for a reason. So we're always trying to figure out ways how he can help us, not just as a receiver, but just as a playmaker overall. And he worked hard at it this week. We practiced that play a lot, and it worked out.
Well, I mean, you have 4 of your receivers that have at least 10 or more receptions that are averaging 10 yards per catch. And a lot of those, Malik Oetis, he's been such the target for those little 5-yard checkdowns. Let's get we need 5 yards for a first down. Let's throw it to Malik and get 6 out there on the flat. So it really shows how explosive you guys have been. What's allowed you guys to make those catches? And boy, Malik Oetis, one that one of my coworkers pointed out there along the near sideline, where it looked like he got not just 1 but 2 in, and somehow was like diving horizontally and then somehow got the cleats down. That was maybe one of the catches of the year.
Catching the ball, man, is just about focus. So we talk about that and we preach that a lot in our room, man. And when the ball touches you in, you got to make a play. And that's the big thing. I think that's the biggest step we took this week, was just making tough plays. We preach all the time, all great wide receivers make tough plays, right? Everybody can catch the regular ones, but it's who can make the play when you're not supposed to. And just focusing on that. And then again, confidence, man, just believing you can do it. I try to make sure that group's as confident as possible going into any game. Don't feel like anybody can guard you, hold you, do those things. And when you kind of preach that, you just kind of let them play on Saturday, man, and those good things happen.
Making the tough plays. We'll see if they can get the tough win. Going on the road to St. Joseph, Missouri on Saturday to take on the Griffins. Both teams 1-3. Kickoff at 6. Pregame coverage, RV Doc pregame show at 5 on Mix 104.9. Bryce Chavis, the second-year wide receivers coach for the Emporia State Hornets. Thanks so much for the time. Best of luck to you on Saturday, Coach.
I appreciate it, man. I'm excited to be on here. Thanks, guys.
Bryce Chavis, ladies and gentlemen, here on us with us on Hornet Talk on this week. Let's take a timeout. We'll switch over to the defensive side of the ball. We'll talk with a guy off the defensive lineman from the chain gang, Kaden Fields. He is coming up next. Live from 627 Event Space, this is Hornet Talk. You're listening to Emporia State Football.
At Shelter Insurance, we believe insurance should adjust to fit your needs. That's why we work with you to design an auto, home,
4.9.
Emporia State football returns to the road, and this has been a pretty tight series. Look at 3 of the last 4 games in this series, and they have been absolute nail-biters between the Hornets and the Griffins. No reason to expect that this one's going to be any different. On Saturday, a 6 o'clock kickoff. Pregame coverage with the RB Doc pregame show at 5 right here, Mix 104.9. And, of course, you can listen online at kboe.com/listen. The Lady Hornets soccer team, winners of 3 in a row, are back at home at the ESU pitch on Sunday for a 1 p.m. kickoff against Fort Hays State. As a reminder, all general admission tickets are free as part of the year of celebration. Come out and support Lady Hornets soccer on Sunday at the ESU pitch. We are now joined by one of the leaders on the defensive line. He is second on the team in tackles, 16 solo stops from his defensive tackle position with 1 quarterback hit on the air. Kaden Fields joining us here on the program. Kaden Fields, ladies and gentlemen, here on Hornet Talk. Kaden, thanks so much for your time. Really appreciate you being here with us. Looking at this game for you guys, like we were talking about, there were a lot of good plays that you guys made in terms of how you guys felt on the defense. How did you feel like Pittsburg State certainly needed to make a couple more plays to get the win?
Yeah, like we were doing pretty good. We felt pretty confident going into halftime. We were starting to steam up things, getting comfortable, and then coming out in the second half, we just weren't fitting it up the way we were supposed to. We just kind of lost our way, and sometimes that happens. We just got to get back to finding our spots. So
certainly, you guys have got to have confidence in your defense, even when you have a performance like that, because you have so many good plays in a game like that. How do you guys kind of mentally try to fight through that and still have confidence that you're going to make the next play?
Yeah, so like watching film today, even it was like we could see where we would make the play for a gain of 2, or we would stop it on the line of scrimmage, and we'd watch the same play like 2 minutes later, and they have like a 20-yard run. It's just, one little lapse of details that makes the whole thing completely different. So
how much detail goes into trying to get those run fits right? Because, I think a lot like offense, when they're running the ball a certain way, there's several guys, defensive line, the linebackers, and then into the secondary. They've all got to kind of click the right way for the defense to kind of fit together right.
Yeah. It all works together. Like even just starting on the D-line, we have what we do, and then the linebackers work off of us, and that plays into DBs and safeties, and we work on it all the time, every day in practice. We're spending multiple periods just fitting it up, walking through it, talking through it, making sure we know what we're doing and getting it right. And then when we go through practice, we do it just fine. So
we're talking with Kaden Fields. He is a redshirt junior out of Osawatomie, Kansas, on this defensive line, on the chain gang, as they like to say. I see you guys when you are doing things, especially when you're working on what the opponent's going to do, and a lot of times you're not necessarily going full speed. How much does that help trying to walk through things and then have Coach Lopo really talk out the plays? Obviously, you can't go through every play they're going to run, but you're certainly trying to get through the highlights of most of the plays that they're going to get to. How do you guys go about trying to get those plays trained in those walkthroughs?
I think it's really important just to walk through stuff, like just walk and talk things. Because when you're in that game, everything happens so fast, and one little mistake can cause a big something to happen. And so you walk through it, you make sure you get your mental cues, you get your eyes right, your hands right, you see the whole play develop, and then you start to pick it up. So that way when you get into the game, it's natural. So I
know the one thing that Coach Lopo said that he felt like he's got to do a better job of is helping you guys adjust during the game. How much of defense is making an adjustment where maybe they're running a play, but they're blocking it slightly differently than you guys had anticipated, and so you guys need to make a little adjustment? How do you guys go about making those adjustments? It has to be difficult practicing in one way the whole week, but then, okay, well, we got to do it differently now, and then making sure you remember, okay, we're doing it this way and not that way, or not the previous adjustment. How do you try to keep that straight during the game?
So, during practice, we have what we want to do, and then we kind of know, what we can do or what we might need to do later on. And then when you're in the game, it's kind of just a small little adjustment where it's like, hey, we're going to send you here instead of there, or we're going to make you line up here so you're in a better position. And you kind of have that, you've practiced it before, so you kind of know what's going on.
You have shown a bunch of personal improvement this year. We saw some flashes on the defense this year, but I mean, now you've got 26 tackles, half tackle for loss. You're the number 2 tackler as the defensive tackle, which doesn't happen a lot of places. You've been a playmaker. What's been the source of your personal improvement as you've continued to be a bigger part of this defense?
I think it's really just been the time. Like, I've been here 3.5 years, 4 years now. Like, it's just really going into what we believe in and really working on your own game. A lot of film study, really working out the details, because when you put the time in and the work in, you start to see results. And I'm just happy to see that. So,
what have you been studying here at Emporia State? We'll get off the field here for a second. What have you been in the classroom getting ready to do at Emporia State?
I'm a biology major. So.
Okay. Well, what is the future? Have you kind of figured out what you'd like to do with that degree?
Well, originally I was going to school to be a game warden. I wanted to get like a bachelor's in biology, but then go into like a criminal justice program.
I feel like somebody else maybe it was you last year that talked about being a game warden. I know it's something in Kansas that we don't have very many of, but it changed here recently.
So then I switched it over to like more of a medical field. So I kind of want to go into the medical field a little bit. So it's still a biology degree. It's just the concentration's a little different.
What do you, obviously thinking human biology, not like animal biology. What decided what you wanted, what field, obviously in terms of human biology, there's a ton of different things you could do with that degree. Anything, one in particular that stands out to you right now?
So I really like hospital trauma centers, like the triage and like the ER aspect. I think I handle that pretty well. I think it's just cool to be able to respond on a dime and help someone survive.
That's awesome. I think that there are probably, that's kind of like defensive human life right there. So it makes sense when you play in defense. So you may be running into, maybe it's going to be a doctor or an ER driver, EMT, Dr. Fields maybe here in a couple of years. Final question for you here. After a game like that, when you're trying to come back and get things right, and how important is it? You guys are off today. You've got film study. How important is it to start the week off with a good practice tomorrow to get set for your week of preparation?
It's probably the most important thing, to be honest with you. If you don't set the standard, if you don't set the bar high off the first day, then you're trying to catch up the whole time. But you got to have a great practice, great preparation all week, because this is probably the toughest division in Division II football, and every day you don't know what's going to happen, so you just gotta get ready. So
who knows what's going to happen, but it's probably going to be a close game. Emporia State visiting Missouri Western on Saturday. Kickoff is set for 6, and the RV Doc pregame show at 5 on Mix 104.9. Once again, number 2 tackler on the team, Mr. Fields. Thanks so much for the time. Really appreciate it. Kaden Fields, ladies and gentlemen, here joining us on Hornet Talk. We'll wrap things up. We'll get you set for Saturday. When we come back, Coach Higgins will rejoin me. We'll get you set for the Griffins at Spratt Stadium. Live from 627 Event Space, this is Hornet Talk. You're listening to Emporia State Football.
Headed to the game or celebrating after? Swing by 627 Event Space Bar and Grill. Whether you're grabbing a burger before kickoff or winding down with a beer after the buzzer, 627 has you covered. Emporia's go-to spot for great food, cold drinks, and unbeatable vibes. 627 Event Space Bar and Grill, the new home for Hornet Talk at 627 Commercial. Proud supporters of the Emporia State University Hornets. Stingers up!
We all make plans for the future, like car accidents, break-ins, and unexpected fires can disrupt those plans. At Shelter Insurance, our agents help design insurance plans that work for you and help protect what matters most. Shelter Insurance. We're your shield. We're your shelter.
Find out how Kelly Medrano can help with your auto, home, and life needs.
It's time to fall forward into football season and cheer on your favorite teams. So why not get new gear for you and your family at Sports Connection? Sports Connection carries Emporia High and area high school team apparel, as well as ESU, KU, and K-State gear. They also do custom screen printing for your team, booster club, or your family and fans. Catch the spirit with new fan gear from Sports Connection. Sports Connection, 2721 West 15th Emporia.
Newman Regional Health Medical Partners is proud to provide the same orthopedic and sports medicine care trusted by the athletes on the Hornet fields. Their expert medical team serves the greater Emporia area with comprehensive treatment for sprains, fractures, joint pain, and sports-related injuries. Trusted by athletes and available to everyone. Schedule your appointment today with Newman Regional Health Medical Partners at 620-343-2376. Newman Regional Health, achieving healthy goals.
At Emporia State Federal Credit Union, they believe education is the key to a brighter future. That's why they support students, teachers, and lifelong learners with smart financial solutions, from savings plans to free financial education tools. Whether you're just starting school or continuing your journey, they're here to help every step of the way. Emporia State Federal Credit Union, where education and community come first. Federally insured by the NCUA.
Do you have a new driver in the family? Start them off with just more than the fundamentals of driving from point A to B. Make sure they understand what actually keeps their car reliable and on the road and safe. At Black Creek Diesel Automotive, they can schedule regular maintenance with oil changes, tire rotations, and more. Visit blackcreekdieselautomotive.com or give them a call at 620-343-0086. A safe car helps make a safe driver. Black Creek Diesel Automotive, 3105 West 6th, here in Emporia.
Mix 104.9.
One last check-in here at 627 Event Space. Once again, it is Missouri Western coming up for the Hornets. It'll be a road game and a 6 o'clock for the kickoff, 5 o'clock for the RV Down pregame show on Mix 104.9. Coach, looking here at this week, one thing I wanted to point out about the defense is you guys really, for the most part, kind of held down their top two receivers very, very nicely against Pittsburg State. They had two guys that they really want to get the ball to, and they were kind of invisible in that.
Well, they didn't have to throw it to him.
Well, they tried to throw more than, but
they did. Right. No, you're right. I mean, again, there are bright spots there, and then yeah, we got a little bit of
feedback there. I'll
feedback.
Turn that down just a little bit. There we go. I think we're good now.
So anyway, yeah, we did. You know, we did some things really well, but you know, again, they were when you're running the ball as effectively as they are, they don't have to throw it.
Coach, I guess the sequence, not the sequence, but the name, the phrase, the slogan, that's the word I'm looking for the season is WIN, what's important now. With this part of the season, where things are, what's important right now about this team and where you guys need to go in order to get the outcome for the rest of the season that you want to get from here?
Yeah, we talked about it yesterday and talked to the team about, you know, what's the most important thing right now is getting a win. And what's important now relates to that and the fact of, you know, we still got to go to work tomorrow and we got to get better. And we're chasing a win. And sometimes, you know, you can get in a rut, and that's where we're at right now. And we're fighting, clawing, doing everything we can to get out of it. I feel good about the mindset of the players. Are there players and coaches frustrated? Yes. I mean, when you're setting at 1-3, it's not a good feeling. All right. And very easily you can let it define you. And I feel good about the mindset and the work ethic of our guys. You know, so that's all we talked about yesterday is, look, we're trying to continue to work to go get a win. And if you're not competitive and you're not that type of individual, then, hey, you don't need to be in this locker room right now.
I am guessing that Kaden Fields, not on that list.
No, not on that list.
On the list of guys you want in the locker room.
No question.
And, boy, you talk about a guy. You look at a lot of defenses, and there are a lot of defensive tackles that'll get all-league honors, and they'll be up there, and you look at them, and they just don't have that many tackles. He's made a ton of plays from the defensive tackle spot for you guys. He's a playmaker, and another one of those guys that you talk about waiting their turn behind veterans like Rafe Goucher and Ryland Miller, and now getting his shot. And, boy, is he taking advantage of the opportunity.
He's taking advantage of the opportunity, and, again, that's our MO as a football program. Our guys like Kaden who come in, are redshirted, and they develop. They get stronger in the weight room in our strength conditioning program with Coach Kitzman. And then, you know, when it's their turn, they take advantage of it. And, you know, right now we got a lot of those guys, playing for us. At the same time, we got a lot of guys that are still trying to figure those things out of how we do things here with the new faces. But it is a good group, and I think Kaden is playing the way he needs to be playing up front.
Speaking of, in terms of the what you guys have done, one thing that we didn't talk about as much on offense, I think you mentioned it real briefly, but it was your tempo, and I believe that this was the most plays that you guys have run. I think you guys ran 89 plays in this game. Does it feel like the offense is starting to figure out, hey, this is how fast we got to go?
I think that they are figuring it out, and I think that we ran 87 the previous week against Nebraska Kearney. So I think those guys are finding their groove over there. I think they're seeing, with the inexperience that we have, and those guys are growing up really fast. I think they're seeing how our tempo can be an advantage for us. Again, and I didn't mention this talking about running the football, but a lot of times when we're running the ball effectively, you're going to see us do that in the second half when we have been able to be consistent with our pace to where we're able to wear a defense down and be able to get some runs. So I think our guys are seeing that firsthand right now, while at the same time that's giving them confidence.
Coach, you look at this Missouri Western team, a team that is in the same spot, 1-3, and probably a team that feels a lot like you, probably feels like they're not that far away from being undefeated or a winning record. They've lost 3 one-possession games. What sticks out to you about the Griffins?
Well, right there, that's and watching them on film, again, such a fine line, especially even in our conference of wins and losses, all right? And we're sitting where we're at right now because we've earned it. We've earned it, okay? So we haven't played consistent enough. We've made too many mistakes in critical areas, and I'm sure they probably feel the same thing. They feel the same way, a bounce here or there, a turnover here or there. They have a different record. I've said this all along, all right? And there's Lincoln University, and I'm not taking anything away, but I'm just being honest. Lincoln, Northeastern, those schools, hey, they're not in our league, and it's different. Every Saturday, all right, you better line up and be ready to play. And you can be 1-3, just like Missouri Western. To me, they're as good as any team that we've faced. All right, you don't look at the record. I promise you that, and that's one of the things that I think it's our job as coaches to make sure that our players they're doing the same thing. Don't look at the record, because you better be ready to play.
Well, not only that, but 3 of these last 4 games between the Hornets and the Griffins, 1 score in 3 of the last 4. No reason to think it's going to be any different. Coach, we'll talk to you on Thursday. Have a great week of practice. We'll see you out there Saturday at Spratt Stadium.
Thank you, Blake.
Head coach Garin Higgins, ladies and gentlemen, and that is our show for the week as the Hornets get set to travel to St. Joseph, Missouri. So that's it. We'll talk to you Saturday from Spratt Stadium in St. Joseph. Thanks to everybody for coming out tonight or listening online at kvoe.com/listen. Thanks to the great folks here at 627 Event Space. Tip your server. We'll see you next week for the show right here at 627 Event Space Bar and Grill. Ashley and the crew can't wait to serve you. 627 Commercial downtown Emporia. Thanks to Grace Ish back at our KFFX studios. I'm Blake Cripp saying good night and Stingers up.